The Republican candidates for Illinois governor joining in a forum last night at the GAT Guns facility in East Dundee, hosted by the Illinois State Rifle Association. They talked about, of course, the Second Amendment, but they also discussed education and more. I'm Greg Bishop, host of Illinois in Focus Daily here with The Center Square. Go to thecentersquare.com and get the latest. So 4 candidates at the GAT Guns facility in East Dundee last night. I was there. Got back at about close to midnight here after a 3.5-hour drive of heading up there over the weekend, testing things out, and then getting a live stream out for our news partners and others to be able to watch that live. And you can actually find the rebroadcast as well if you follow me on Bishop on Air on X. You'll be able to see a link there, or even on Facebook. We'll get a link into the full debate in this video after the live show, so be sure to find that and watch it in its entirety. But you have the 4 candidates. The 4 candidates are former State Senator Darren Bailey. You've got Ted Dabrowski, former president of WirePoints, Rick Heidner, a businessman, and DuPage County Sheriff James Mindrick. So 4 candidates that are going to be on the ballot. There's another candidate that's still listed as active, but he's challenging his name being removed from the ballot, and that's a challenge that's happening in the courts, and that's Joseph Areno. He was not in attendance last night and not invited to the forum. But they started off with actually Darren Bailey's running mate, Aaron Delmar, because Bailey was running a little late in traffic. Here is some of what Aaron had to say to start the forum.
Darren and I are the ones that can take the whole state and unite the Republican Party, because we're the only group that's not just from the North. All 4 of us from up here. We have a ton of brothers and sisters in Southern Illinois, farmers, agriculture, union members that are prison workers, that have worked for the Secretary of State, for teachers, all of them that are ruby red Republican. Out of 102 counties in Illinois, 97 of them are bright red. It's just the 7 that hurt the rest of us. But Darren and I are the ones that can take the whole state and unite the Republican Party. I'm excited to be here with these gentlemen because for the first time, we're not killing each other.
That's, again, Aaron Delmar, the running mate for Darren Bailey, as Bailey was a little late to get to the forum last night in East Dundee. But you had others there. You had Rick Heidner, a businessman, newcomer to the Republican, zeitgeist. He laid out why he's decided to run for governor. He's somebody who's made himself a business, and that business has grown substantially, and he has a lot of real estate and rents out to stores all over the state and such. So he talked about how he's seen the economy under Republicans, and he's seen the economy under Democrats, and he says right now things are not looking good for Illinois, and he wants to fix that.
Every single time, especially in the presidential election, okay? Every time there's a Republican in office, I prosper, I build, I do wonderful things. I build buildings and I employ people, and then not only do I employ people, also all the new stores that I open for other people that rent from me, they're employing all kinds of people. But every single time there's a Democrat that comes in office, every single time, all I do is spend those years, of whether it's 4 years or 8 years or whatever it is, trying to save my business. So I hope you understand.
That's, again, Rick Heidner, a businessman, saying that he's running for governor because he's seen that under Democrat leadership, business struggles. Under Republican leadership, he says, businesses thrive. Here is former WirePoints president Ted Dabrowski laying out his intro, and he talked about being the child of parents who immigrated into the United States, one from communist Poland, and saying that really shaped who he is, and his mom coming from South America. He's got a unique perspective. He can speak to the Latino population. He can speak to the Polish population, and he says that he knows how to get people on board with the message of the Dabrowski administration, or the Dabrowski campaign, rather. And he says that he really thinks the Pritzker administration over the past 7 years has made Illinois less.
Last thing I want to say is a closing. You guys have, there's 4 of us here running. You have a choice. And the big choice has to be, let me just clarify. Do we all want Pritzker out of office? Yeah. Okay. If that's the number one goal, you're going to have to figure out who here has the best chance of beating Pritzker. And I'm going to be a little biased and say it's me. I live in Cook County. My running mate's from Cook County as well. She's an ER doctor, works in the safety net hospitals, but she's very principled. We know how to work Cook County in the suburbs. That's number one. I've got the donor base, Chicago, downstate, and DICU line. And together with the grassroots, I need you. We can beat Pritzker. So thank you for being here, and look forward to talking to you more.
So again, the forum last night was all the candidates introducing themselves, and then they were all asked the same question and given time for each individual to respond to that question. And then afterwards, they took like a 10-minute recess and had the attendees of the forum, those watching it live in person, able to go to separate tables of the candidates, almost like an informal straw poll of sorts. I did have to get torn down from the live stream and head back on the highway, and thought I saw some of those northern lights on the way back late. But regardless, the forum touched on, of course, the Second Amendment issues, touched on education, and touched on economic issues. But Darren Bailey did get there eventually during the intro, and they did carve out about 2 minutes for him to give an introduction of himself, despite his running mate being given that opportunity earlier.
I'm the only one here that stood up in the General Assembly and fought for you the entire time. But the interesting thing is I had respect for the people on the other side of the aisle. That value of me serving as a state rep and as a state senator, building trust, maybe not trust, respect. Respect's the word. Because I did the time. I'm the only one here that stood up in the General Assembly and fought for you the entire time. But the interesting thing is I had respect for the people on the other side of the aisle. And friends, 4 years ago when I ran and when we won that primary, everybody else picked up the ball and they went home. Nobody got out to try to turn the vote out. Only 43% of all Illinoisans showed up to vote. That's something we must unite and coalesce, because when we win in November, it is going to send shockwaves across this nation when we stop J.B. Pritzker dead in his tracks.
Again, Darren Bailey ran in 2022 against Governor Pritzker after winning the Republican nomination. Then he had the support of then former President Donald Trump, but Bailey lost to Pritzker, and voter turnout, he's saying, should have been stronger, and the Bailey campaign saying that the lesson they learned is they've got somebody from Cook County and they've got somebody from Southern Illinois, and they believe that they can bridge that gap. So Jim Mendrick, Sheriff of DuPage, he introduced himself being a sheriff and having to go up against the county board on things like masks. He even talked about the issue of the gun ban and how he was a very high-profile figure, saying that he would not enforce the gun ban, and he was not going to go confiscate firearms. And he discussed how he really took a media beating of sorts because of his position on that. But Mendrick also laid out things about education when the question was brought up about education outcomes. And he says, as a county sheriff, he thinks he can manage education better than the state.
What are they doing in our school system for 12 years? So here's the thing. Again, part of my job, I'm in the second biggest county in this state, and I deal with the second biggest jail population, right? So I learn a lot from our criminal element, because these are the people who get arrested in our state and end up in our facility. So over 50% of the people we get, they might be 25 years old, 30 years old, they can't even read or write, right? So I can take somebody illiterate, get them through high school, college, job training in 2 years. What are they doing in our school system for 12 years? I can do this in a correctional facility in 2 years. They can't do it in 12 years in our normal school facilities.
So Mendrick making a point there of, he says, what's been poor education in the state of Illinois. There was a lot of talk about school choice and voucher programs and just accountability and not changing the metrics as to judging success of schools. And Dabrowski talked in particular about a school district in Decatur back in 2022. He elevated that only 2% of the black students could read in fourth grade, and that hasn't changed. 4 years later, and he points to the Pritzker administration's handling of the appointees on the State Board of Education and the legislature not following through to have some accountability for that. But a lot of talk about school choice, vouchers, and the like, but also about indoctrination. And so the conversation wide-ranging last night during the forum. Here is Rick Heidner when they were asked about the Second Amendment. He says that you need the Second Amendment.
Our Second Amendment rights for 250 years, our veterans, our people that have fought for us so that we can defend ourselves and so that we can make sure that our families are safe. We deserve this. Blood was shed. People died. It's impossible. It's impossible for us not to have these rights. And for them to want to, and I'm talking about, obviously we want safety. That's everything. But we have a right to protect ourselves. We have guns. We need to have our guns. We want to protect our family. We all need to do that. We all need to be able to protect ourselves and our family.
And others, of course, as I mentioned, Jim Mendrick, the sheriff of DuPage, pointing to his record, saying that as sheriff, he was among the first to say that he was not going to enforce the state ban on semi-automatic firearms and magazines. And he says he took a lot of flack from the media and the county board. And you had Darren Bailey talk about how he, has been involved in the legislature pushing back on these types of things. And if you recall, Bailey put out a video showing that he was not going to, register his firearms when that law came into enactment. And Ted Dabrowski also talking about public safety when it comes to firearms.
It's pretty obvious what's happening here in Illinois. Two things are happening. Physical security is a major risk. People are not secure anymore physically. Now we're talking about physical security. And it bothers me, and it's something I've written a lot, and I do respect what Darren has done here, but it bothers me so much that our entire public security is a mess, right? Our police, the morale of our police officers is at a dramatic low, with Pritzker not defending it and not backing his police. With Brandon Johnson effectively wanting to get rid of police, we have a real problem. We have prosecutors who won't prosecute, right? If a policeman grabs somebody, arrests them, takes them in, those prosecutors put them right back on the street same day. So there's a lot that has to be done, but obviously on things like PICA, we have to, of course, get rid of it. We have to get rid of all these different laws that are trying to put more liability on the gun makers and trying to take away your rights.
So Mendrick talked about public safety, and as sheriff of the second largest county in Illinois, he says he's got that record to show it.
What my inmates tell me after 7 years of data collection, I am the sheriff of the second biggest county in this state. See, I don't want Purdue kids from a college telling me how to do police work, how to stop gun violence, how to stop crime. They don't know. You know what my inmates tell me after 7 years of data collection? The reason why the carjackings are so high in Illinois is because they know you don't have guns. 13 years, folks. We're the highest murder rate in the entire nation with the most gun laws. It's not working. We know it's as stupid as you, that you know and we know that this whole law is a joke. We want to avoid that. A piece of plastic should not be able to say you have a right that the Constitution has already given you.
Mendrick mentioning the Void the Void initiative that Bailey says he helped spearhead But obviously, the firearm owner ID card in Illinois required for people to not just purchase firearms or own them, but to purchase ammunition and own it. So a lot of different topics all throughout the forum last night. I will put a link to the entire forum you'll be able to watch in the description of this segment when we get it posted after the live show. And it looks like my music beds and my frames are back, so that's good. It is Illinois in Focus each and every weekday morning here, live with the Center Square.